Hello everyone, you're watching the 5.6 Factoring Trinomials Day 2 lesson video. So 5.6 Factoring Trinomials is a continuation of what we did the day before. We're just going to spice it up a bit. So it looks really similar. You're like, what? This looks just the same as what we were doing last lesson. However, there's something that's different. So if we look at the graph of f of x equals 2x squared plus 7x plus 3 that's shown over to the right, I also graphed it on my calculator. You should be doing the same. It asks us to find the roots. So for me, the roots, they look an awful lot like they are at, well, first of all, I'm pretty certain that it's x equals -3, and I'm almost positive that it's x is equal to -0.5, but I'm not sure about that one. So I'm going to use my Analyze Graph feature to get that 0, and in fact, I was correct. So let's just write that down here. So x equals -3, and x is equal to -0.5. Okay, so wait a minute. All right, so factored form, it's saying that this is incorrect, but from last lesson video, we would create our little skeleton, and then we're going to do x plus 3, and then x plus 0.5. Okay, right? Because we just switch around the signs, switch these signs. And then obviously there's no equal signs in there, but it's weird because we haven't seen this decimal. All right, so let's graph this together. So they want us to graph this. I'm assuming it's because we are going to prove that it's wrong. If it's the same, if we did it correctly, the graphs should be identical. Ugh. They're not, but wait, it's so weird. So their zeros are the same, but it's not the same function. So what did we notice for part E? They should have been the same, but they are different graphs, same roots or same zeros. And then what should have happened, they should have been identical. And they're not. Okay, so we need to know, or we need to use what we know about double distribution to help us correctly factor. All right, what do I mean by this? Well, I think I'm going to use a box to kind of help me with this, right? Isn't that what we use to double distribute? So here's the deal. I think one of those zeros is okay. The x plus 3, right? Weren't we used to having no decimals? I think the decimal is what's making this a little wonky. So let's put x plus 3 on one side. And I'm going to leave the other side. In this case, I left the top blank. But instead of writing stuff on the side first, I'm going to go ahead and put in my 2x squared, my plus 3, and then I know that those two boxes have to combine to be 7x. So let's play a little guessing game. We have the end result, but I need to know x times what gives me 2x squared. X times what gives me 2x squared? Isn't that 2x? All right, so I'm going to write that there. And then I'm going to look here at this plus 3. 3 times what gives me 3? Well, that's easy. Isn't that just a positive 1? Wait a minute. I just found another binomial. Is this right? Is this my answer? Well, the only way that we can find out is by filling in those other two boxes. So I'm going to use my blue pen. So 3x times 2x is 6x. X times 1 is 1x. OMG. 6x plus 1x is 7x. So I'm going to go up here. And instead of that x plus 0.5, I'm going to write that as 2x plus 1. Bam. Did you see that magic? That was amazing. Okay, so let's do some more questions just like this. All right, in number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I'm going to ask you to pause the video. I'm going to do the same. And what I'd like for you to do is actually graph all of these and identify the roots, whether that's on your calculator or Desmos. I don't care. Go ahead and do that now. All right, so here I have the first problem graphed. Now I made sure to show all of my zeros, but what I'm finding right now is that this is at x is equal to -5 and x is equal to -1.33. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write this in the factored form that I think, but I need to be careful. So I'm able to use only one of my zeros. Remember from the page before, we can only use the integer root. And what we have to do, now this is a cool part, the distributing to check and finding the other factor are actually a 2-for-1 deal right now. So I don't have to do any extra work. I just have to think about this in a different way. So I'm going to put down x plus 5, and then inside my box, I'm going to write my function, or excuse me, my trinomial. So there's 3x squared plus 20, and these two boxes here are going to combine to be a positive 19x. All right, so let's think backwards. How can I get 3x squared? What times x is 3x squared? Yep, 3x. What times 5 is 20? Yep, that's 4. So if I check and fill in these other two boxes of 4x and 15x, 15x plus 4x should be 19x. It is. So 3x plus 4 is my other factor. Okay, cool. So let's go on to the next one. Let's do the same thing together, and then I'm going to have you work on a couple of these on your own in this video. Okay, the roots for this question are x is equal to -7 and x is equal to, ew, gross, my decimal root. I don't like it, but I do like one of them. I know that one of the factors is going to be x plus 7. I don't know what the other one is, but that doesn't mean that I can't find it. All right, so I have x plus 7 as one of them. I also know that my trinomial that I started with is 2x squared plus 21 plus 17x. Okay, so let's work backwards. What times x is 2x squared? That's 2x. 7 times what is positive 21? Positive 3. So we have 2x plus 3 as my other factor. Remember, this is my answer. The rest is just the work that's both used as a check and a simplification tool. Making sure that we're right. 14x and 3x is 17x. Yay, yay, we're happy. Okay, so at this time, what I want you to do is write in all of the roots for questions 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pause the video, or I'm going to pause the video for you, and then we're going to come back and check to see what you did to make sure it's correct. All right, so what I have found here in question 3 were those two roots, and I just used my integer 1 there, my integer 1 here, and the same in questions 5 and 6. So now my challenge is for you to pause the video again and complete these 4 questions on your own. All right, so here I have my answer to number 3. So my other factor was 3x plus 1. And here are my answers to 4, 5, and 6. Make sure you check your work. Remember, a way that we can make sure that we're right 100% of the time is to graph our original and our new factored form, and those should give us the same identical graph. So what we want to always remember to do is check our work. We are going to use our integer root to help us find the other factor. Now, we're starting to develop the process where pretty soon we won't even need to use our calculators to help us factor. It's going to be pure magic in just a couple more days. Some of you might have already figured it out by now, which is awesome, and you're already just ready to use the box method by yourself and factoring without the calculator.